Hey, welcome to this next video. We are now talking about group policies. It may be something that you have heard before, or perhaps people in your work, or you've read about it, or you've heard about it. Group policies, or GPOs, group policy objects. What are these things? Well, let's give you a bit of a foundation first. So you've got yourself a Windows server. First and foremost, you need to have a Windows server installed, configured. You have to have a domain controller. And within that domain controller, when you're installing the Active Directory services, the Active Directory roles on your domain controller, you actually will get the group policy object, the group policy software, the roles by default installed onto that server. So you log in to your domain controller and you can open up the group policy manager, essentially, to go and actually configure GPOs, right? Very, very easy to do. And what GPOs let you do is it lets you push out preferences, functions, software, prerequisites, a whole bunch of stuff. You can push out scripts, you can push out security permissions across your network, right? So rather than, let's give you an example. So let's say you've got 10 computers on your network. You are responsible for administering a network of 10 computers. And your boss comes up to you and says, we need this particular business desktop wallpaper on every single one of the computers. You've got two options. The first is you can go and log into each one of these 10 computers, right click, go into your wallpaper, into your background, and apply that wallpaper on every single computer. Or the second thing is you can go into your Active Directory server, your domain controller, you open up the Group Policy Manager, and then you actually push out a policy to every computer on your network, which is actually those 10 computers, to say, use this wallpaper. And then the next time those computers log in, by default, those computers will read the group policy that's been applied against it and will apply that wallpaper. Easy. You then get an 11th computer, a 12th computer, a 13th computer. Your company grows by another 10 computers. They then connect to AD, they read the group policy, and automatically they will get applied that group policy of the wallpaper, and they will all get the wallpaper. Easy. We're going to be talking about a few different group policies in these videos. We're looking at how to set a more complex password. So by default, a user has maybe a 6-character password. You want a policy in place that a user by default, the password now needs to be 8 characters, needs to have an uppercase, a lowercase, has to have a number in it. You can push out that policy against all of your computers, against all of your users, so that all of your users are forced to use this particular password complexity. What about not being able to allow guests to log into a computer? They have to be an authenticated user on the network. And there's also a few other group policies that we are going to be talking about as well. But group policies make the life essentially of an IT administrator very, very easily, because you don't have to go and apply specific rules, specific permissions on every single computer. You can manage it all from a centralized location, the Group Policy Manager, on a domain controller, and then push it out against all the computers, against all the users, so that you know that all the computers and all the users are going to have the same setup. They're going to look the same, they're going to function the same. Perhaps they'll go and get the updates, Windows updates, all the same. How brilliant would it be if the computers don't have to go out to the internet? Every one of your computers go out to the internet to download all the Windows updates that come out every month. So Microsoft release patches every month. It's called Patch Tuesday. They release them every month. And how annoying is it if you've got 100 computers going out to the network all at the same time, going out to the internet and downloading all these patches? What about setting up what's called a WSUS server, a centralized server for controlling all of your patches, all of your Windows updates, and then pushing them out to all the computers? Well, all of that, you configure it with group policy. You get all your computers to talk to group policy. You tell those computers, hey, rather than going out to the internet to go and get your updates, why don't you go to this WSUS server that manages and controls all of your Windows patches? So much easier. Then your WSUS server just pushes them out to all of those computers. And all of that foundation is done via group policies. So a bit of an overview, a bit of an introduction, but now the next few videos are going to be focused on, let's go and configure some basic group policies and go from there.